Hi everyone, courtesy here from Goth Rider Creations, and happy 2023. Hopefully this one's a bit better than the last few. But yeah, so finally it's time to start a new project, and apologies, I know it's been a while. Every time, I know it sounds like an excuse, but every time I've tried to come out of here, it's either been -2 degrees and this whole place is covered in condensation, or it's peeing down with rain and you can't even hear yourself think, let alone do anything. It's not been an option. I will be doing some of the stuff in the house, but every time I say I'm going to do the project, I'm going to do this, my angel, Mrs. Goth Rider, then says, "Oh, actually, I've been meaning for you to do this for the last 6 months. Can you do it? Can?" Yeah. So, love you, but yeah. So it's been a while, but I'm going to get back into it. I'm not too worried about the schedule. I'm doing this as and when, but I finally got a day off of work, so I thought, you know what, let's get on with this. Now, little explanation. I have now given this thing a name, as you've seen from the title. This will now be called B.O.B, the Bethesda originated banjo. Yeah, I don't know what that means either, but I wanted to give a name, and I thought, you know, Bob sounded about right, so we'll go with that. Now, finally, let's get on with some work. So, this thing, I've got the large dent here that needs taking out. There's a couple of little dents, but I'm happy to leave those there, gives it character. Now, there are loads and loads of different ways of doing oil can banjos, guitars, canjos, whatever you want to call them. A lot of people literally just cut a hole in the end, jam a neck through, screw it down, and done. I don't want to do that because you're going to lose the resonance, and as I've said before, this is going to be completely acoustic. There's not going to be any electronics sound wise on this thing, so no pickups. So I want to keep it as original as I can. I will keep the bass, but I will panel that to give it some strength. I'm going to cut this out completely, so then I've got access to the inside. I can push out the dents, I can get the plate on the inside, and then I'm going to do a traditional banjo style bolt through neck, and then it will just be a case of using studding and then bolts and nuts on this side. So that's the theory. I also don't know how much sludge is left inside this thing because it is a bit old, so I want to cut this out. The handle is also broken, so there's no point keeping it. The cap, yeah. So all we're going to do now is get the Dremel bits, cut this top out. and there we have it. So, one open can. Now, looking at this, there is a little bit of crud in here, the expected rust, but nothing all that bad. So, what we're going to do is I am going to try and clean this up a bit. I'm going to do that off camera, obviously, because I'm not going to bring in soap and water and a hose. So I'm going to give this a scrub up, get this tidied up, get rid of some of the rust on the inside, and then we will start making the plate for the base. And after only 5 minutes, disturbingly, we're sorted. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but that is much cleaner than it was. Still got all the rust spots in there, but we're not concerned about that. So yes, and even the tops come out lovely as well. But yeah, that was actually a lot easier than I thought, because I thought to myself I didn't want to put too much water in it, because obviously it's rusty enough as it is, then I'm going to have to air dry it, it's going to take forever. I don't have my heat gun to hand, so it's just going to be a pain. And then I was looking through my pile of adhesives and solvents, and I found this. That is a cleaner for air sensors on cars and motorcycles. I can't remember what it's called, the air intake sensor, I can't remember, whichever one that works with your ECU. I bought that ages ago from my car because, funnily enough, the sensor died and I tried cleaning it first. And this is just basically a high strength solvent for getting petroleum gunk off of fuel sensors or air sensors. So I thought I'd give it a try. Amazing. Stinks to all high heaven, but as long as you use it in a ventilated area, it cleaned this up instantly. So that's my top tip for anyone that's cleaning gunge out of old oil cans. It's niche advice, I will admit, but that does the trick. So now we just need to clean up the edge where I didn't want to cut too close into the corners. I've left a little lip around all of this, and now that I've beaten the dent out of the side, I'm just going to go in with the sanding drum and just take the sharp edge off of there, and then we're a little bit closer. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought. So yeah, just a little file just to get the edges. I was going to leave a lip on there because I thought it might make life easier for what's going to happen, which we'll see later. But then I realised it was always going to be sharp no matter what I did. So yeah, I just thrashed it over with a little hammer, filed the corners so then I could flatten those down so they weren't an edged lip. And there we have it. So that is now clean. It's now got a safe edge on it. I've been really careful to try not to clean up this edge because I want it nice and rusty looking, give it the aesthetic. So that should do it for the can for the moment. Next job is to do the inner liner. So where I'm going to have the neck here. I'm going to have 2 studs glued into the neck heel that's going to run right the way through to this end, and then washers and bolts on there, nuts on that. Nushers, yeah, nuts and washers. Okay, we've invented something. So we're going to have that there, but obviously way too flimsy. So I don't want to put anything too heavyweight because obviously I don't want to mess with the resonance too much. So we have 8mm ply that was left over from when I built this, and if I use the top that we cut out as the template, even with the corners missing, that will give us a nice piece that's definitely small enough that it will go in there. I don't want it touching the edges as much as I can. I probably will end up having to fill those edges with glue so it's got a really solid structure, because otherwise if it's only that base bit, when I have the neck and the threaded rods, when I try and tighten that up, it'll just cave in the base. So I might have to bite the bullet, but if I at least start with this, I know it will fit, and then if I have to fill that gap with epoxy, then so be it. So let's get this cut out and get it glued in. So, nice and simple, and that should fit down there absolutely fine. It is a little bit loose, but at least I can get that in there without killing myself. So, there's still a little bit of gunge in there, so we'll get that cleaned up, make sure the solvent's gone. And then we can start mixing up some epoxy. I was going to use the trusty clear Gorilla from last time, but I've discovered since using it that it is actually slightly flexible. It has a little bit of flex to it, and again with the resonance of this thing, I really want this to be I want it to be as solid as I physically can, so we're going to, yeah, lovely. So that should do. So yeah, I'm going to dig out the real epoxy, and I think I've got some 5-minute stuff left, and then we'll get this glued in. So there we have it. We've got the base glued in. Don't know if you're going to be able to see. Oh yeah, just about. So we've got the base glued in there. I put a little bit around the edges, but there wasn't quite enough, so I'll dig out the other bits of epoxy. So I haven't completely finished tidying this place up, to be honest, so yeah, I've got to dig out the rest of the adhesives and stuff, but that'll do for the minute. So I'll leave that to dry overnight, and then that should be ready to be sorted. The only thing left to do now is to sort out the top section. Now I might have to leave that until after I've started the neck, because I don't know how big I'm going to be making the heel and everything. If I'm honest, I haven't even drawn up plans for the neck yet, so just kind of rushing to get something out, to be honest. It's been a while and I've missed you guys. So yeah, I'm going to source a nice chunk of wood for that. I'm probably going to end up either getting a chunk of wood and then distressing it to match this, or I can just use a stain or something and just try and age the wood, make it look a little bit more period. Might even just cut up a bit of furniture that I've got, so I'm not 100% sure yet, but I do know that I need to have enough width for the heel to sit comfortably flush against it so it will connect fully. And I want a couple of sound holes either side, so yeah, if it wasn't so cold I would probably crack on, because I know the epoxy would be cured in 10 minutes and wouldn't be an issue, but I can see my breath, so that's probably going to take all night to cure, so I think we're probably best if we leave it there. So yeah, that'll do for this one. Sorry I didn't get a great deal done. Just cut the top off of an oil can. But yeah, I want to try and get back into the routine of doing these videos again. I know the weather's been bad and everything else, but if I'm honest, I've been a little bit lazy, so I need to get back into things. I've got a load of projects this year, so yes, Lazy Curtis has got to disappear for a while. Slightly less Lazy Curtis needs to be in here. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Please let me know what you think, even though I haven't done much. And in the next episode I'm going to start working the basis of the neck, and then we'll be able to start marrying these two up pretty soon. So yes, as usual, please like, subscribe if you haven't, drop us a comment, let us know what you think, and I shall see you all in the next one. Take care.